You're tuned in to Nerd Overload, your weekly show for video games, movies, TV shows, comics, tech news, and more. Sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes. Now your hosts, Cody Pinnick, Samantha Cross, Sam Dunham, and Josh Harrison.
Hey everybody, it's me, Mario. Welcome to Nerd Overload, the pop and geek culture show. That's my audition for Mario in the new animated Mario movie, since you don't apparently have to sound like him.
Let's go with it.
I'm Cody, actually.
I'm Sam.
I'm secretly a Goomba.
You've been cast as the role. They haven't announced Goomba, so
They
maybe
have
it's
not.
you.
That could be, yeah. So, yeah, thank you all for tuning in this week. We're back from our very short hiatus. We have a bunch of news to go over, but first, let's talk about some things we have been checking out.
Check it out! Do the Mario! Swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go! Do the Mario!
In a weird cross-promotional thing, the Goombas will actually be voiced by the Minions.
Ah, yes.
Oh, no.
Yes, the Goombas will love bananas.
Yes. But we'll get into that later in the
We'll
show.
get into that, yes.
Hold on to your seats for that one.
Oh, man. Oh, golly gee. So, yeah, let's talk about some things we've been checking out. Now, we've been off for a couple of weeks, but we also have a lot of news here. So I think we're just going to do a real quick check-em and then jump straight into the news. First thing, I went to a live viewing of The Room down at Studio 35 last week. They did a midnight showing of The Room, and Greg Sestero, the guy who played Mark from The
hi,
Room,
Mark.
he was down there
I'm
and
sure
did
he never gets tired of that.
he seemed pretty on board with everything. Either that or he's a very good actor. He's become a very good actor. But he was there. He did a meet and greet and a really short Q&A before the movie. And he also showed off a trailer for his directorial debut, Mystic Valley, I think is what it's called. He's doing a horror film that is like a throwback to like the 70s, like cult, like
Cult of Dracula.
no, just like cult, like weird desert cult,
Like Wicker Man.
kind of like Wicker Man
but
thing.
in the desert.
Yeah, but the interesting about that is it's the first movie that's been allowed to film in one of the Frank Lloyd Wright houses.
Huh.
So like I don't know how he was able to swing that, but
From side to side.
from side to side. But no, it was pretty cool. Mark does not seem to have aged in these 20 years since The Room. Also, it's been 20 years since The
God.
Room was released.
Oh, I feel ancient already.
Yeah. But no, it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of audience participation. The Room has kind of become almost to a Rocky Horror Picture Show level of, you say things when things happen on the screen and stuff like that.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Not to the point where it makes the film unwatchable if you haven't seen it before, I assume.
Well, not this time. I've been to another Room midnight show over at not the Gateway, but it's the Drexel years ago, and that was unwatchable. That was a not enjoyable experience
Because people were just yelling the lines of the movies and whatever.
You couldn't understand what was going on. Well, I mean, you could barely understand what's going on in the movie anyway.
Yeah.
It's The Room. But but no, this was incredibly enjoyable. It was a blast. People were having a really good time. Only a couple of belligerent drunk people.
I mean, you'll have that.
Which you'll have that. It's a midnight showing, But it was a lot of fun. And Greg Sestero had some really good anecdotes about filming and working with Tommy and all that. And you know what? The crowd had some really good questions. Usually these Q&A kind of things, or like especially at conventions, stuff like that.
Audience Q&As are always the worst.
Oh, I get like weird secondhand embarrassment for like that. You get the one person that the question they ask is just so weird and off the wall, and you just want to jump. Your skeleton wants to jump out of your skin,
or so like obvious and lame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah.
Can you explain the Riker maneuver?
I go back to there was a Wizard World Cleveland where it was the cast of it was right after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had come out.
Oh yeah,
and someone had asked the ladies of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and in the Q&A panel, hey, so have you been to Cedar Point? Do you want to go? We're going tomorrow.
Oh.
And I wanted to just run screaming from the room
Oh,
because that is the
no.
most embarrassing thing. Oh, it gives me the chills now.
I've had a couple where people ask like really personal questions about depression, and it's like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
If you
Like,
start,
oh.
yeah, if you're like, oh, this show touched my soul, and then they start crying
Yeah.
and like bringing up specific lines and like. I mean, I feel for you, but
no, maybe write an email.
maybe,
Like,
yeah.
not in front of everybody.
Yikes,
Like,
yikes. There was only one question like that at the room thing, and it was thankfully the last question, and I'm pretty sure the guy was drunk. And he I think he started with a question about Greg's new movie being kind of a throwback to 70s horror and that sort of thing. And I think he got lost halfway through his question and just started asking if he had seen. I think the question ended with, "So have you seen the original Halloween?"
like, what do you think?
It's like, what is that? Okay, cool. What does that have to do with anything? But like he definitely got lost about halfway through his question and just started meandering.
Dial tone.
Yeah.
I thought about going to this, but the back of my head, I went, do I really want to sit through the room again?
It sold out both theaters.
Wow.
Yeah, it sold them both out, and that's like impressive
Yeah.
and really good for Studio 35.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I thought their big money bringers were like, the dude showings.
oh yeah,
Yeah. Lebowski do they call it Lebowski Fest, or is that a different thing?
They call it Dudathon.
Dudathon. That's what they.
Dudathon, yeah.
Lebowski
Yeah.
Fest is somewhere else.
Dudathon is great. If you get a chance to go down to that is a good time. I mean, it's basically just a beer tasting with the Big Lebowski, but
It's just like your opinion, man.
I was gonna say
it's
that. You beat me to it. I guess I'm just out of my element.
oh gosh.
Not my lady friend.
Nice,
All right.
Nice marmot.
Rug really ties the room together.
Yeah.
Big Lebowski.
Yeah. We'll just start doing Big Lebowski quotes. That's it. That's all.
It's like
I have seen that movie, if you can believe it.
It just reminds me, like I saw this meme. It was like talking about like we didn't used to send memes with each other. We just screamed Chappelle Show quotes at each other.
Oh, sure.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Or like whatever was the running joke on South Park that week,
Yeah, sure.
Sounds about right.
which has had diminishing returns over the
It
years.
kind of has. Yes, that's very true. All right. So that's my one. I mean, I have a couple others, but we'll save them for upcoming weeks.
Did I talk about No More Heroes 3 on here at all?
Briefly.
Briefly? Well, I've finished it now,
Okay.
and I kind of bounced off it a little bit at first.
Really?
Because it's a little weird compared to the other ones.
No
Like-
more heroes be weird. What?
Well, like there isn't like bespoke levels like there would be in the other ones where you'd go to the open world and then you go to the place where you'd go to kill the assassin. There's like 5 different open worlds, all of which have pretty much nothing in them, like the other
Yeah.
game did.
Yeah.
And you go there and then you do a couple fights in like nondescript rooms with aliens.
Yeah. You go to I've heard someone describe it as you go to the FPS dimension. Yeah. You go to a room where there's not a whole lot of extra stuff, so your frames per second can go up.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And like at first I was like put off by this, but like once you get over it, it's fine. It's still like the gameplay within the FPS dimension is still really fun and good, like action combat.
Yeah.
Especially when you unlock more. Travis has the lightsaber, of course, you fight with, but he also has
Beam
like
katana.
Yeah,
You can't
the
say
beam katana.
Can't
excuse
say
me.
lightsaber.
But he also has a glove on his hand that looks like it has 2 Joy-Cons attached to it.
Oh, nice.
It's his death glove, and it has 4 different like special moves on a cooldown on it.
Oh, nice.
And once you get those moves, which you don't get them for like a couple hours, it really opens up the things you can do in combat.
Oh, cool.
Like you can slow down time. You got a force push, which he just goes death force and pushes people with it. And one that creates like this area of effect damage zone,
Oh, cool. Okay.
along with the drop kick that you have from the beginning, which every time he uses it, he shouts, "Screw Crusher Death Kick!" Which is like perfect tokusatsu kind of stuff.
It's very tokusatsu. Yeah, this game is very tokusatsu like focused.
Oh yeah, the whole game is. There's even a point where you one of the assassins is going to teleport you to the roof of a building, but they accidentally teleport you to the quarry where they film tokusatsu battles at.
That's fantastic.
And Travis actually mentions that this is the quarry in wherever in Japan where they film tokusatsu stuff.
Oh, that's awesome. That's super good. I heard that there's a lot of dialogue, and like at one point it's practically a podcast of them talking about Takeshi Miike movies.
Between every assassin battle, because it's structured like the other games where you have to beat 10 assassins.
Right.
It's him and his friend Bishop just talking about Takashi Miike movies. And they mention him by name and also censor him out in the text, but they still say the whole name.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
But it's got a lot of movies like I've written down, like I watch this one and
oh, sure. Yeah.
Getting movie recommendations from a video game.
From my friend Travis Touchdown. And like the story isn't as good as the other ones because it's a lot wackier than the other ones. It's kind of,
it seems wackier.
Like it went like a Saints Row 3
in a Suda 51 way.
So it's just weird.
Yeah.
I mean, I play Lollipop Chainsaw. I get the idea.
Yeah.
But so I would put it somewhere not as good as the first, but better than the second.
That's fair.
Situation.
That's fair.
And all three of them are worth playing. It's a fantastic franchise, and it's a good capper for it, even though it leaves it completely open at the end for another one.
Yeah, I heard his estranged evil brother rival character is no longer Irish.
No, he's not. I don't know why. Who knows?
Yeah, that's
why.
weird.
There's a lot of stuff that's not explained that I think happens in Travis Strikes Again, that kind of between game spinoff that I have not. I've played it for maybe 20 minutes.
Oh.
So I need to go back and play that to make some of the other stuff make sense. But I do like that his estranged brother's name is Henry Cooldown.
Yes.
I mean, not to be super spoilery, but the very last fight against the very last boss is Smash Brothers.
That's what I hear.
It literally like goes 2D side view, like an Omega stage looking stage, and you fight the other guy in that 2-dimensional plane until you get his damage percentage to 100, at which he flies off the side of the stage and it goes game.
So it's just Smash. That's great.
Yeah, so either Travis is going to be in Smash, or this is your chance to play Smash as Travis, since he's not going to be.
You know what? That's probably what it is. That was probably Suda going, you know what? He didn't get picked. Oh, we're going to put him in Smash.
I mean, I heard a rumor the other day where it's like Nintendo bought a lot of rights to like Disney music, and people are wondering if maybe Sora will pop up.
I mean, it would make sense. It would be the big get.
It would be the big get, but I was under the impression that they couldn't get Sora because Disney wouldn't play nice with Nintendo, and that's why we got Sephiroth in Smash. That Square Enix offered Sephiroth as like a consolation for not getting the Kingdom Hearts
Man, the boy.
Yeah, that sweet good boy with his big shoes.
Even before the fight, Travis is like, we're going to settle this with sumo. Because real men settle things with sumo, and then Smash Brothers
Smash Brothers. Oh, that's great.
But yeah, I came around on it. And also the alien designs are so weird that it was... And they were so off-putting, I wasn't looking forward to fighting them. But it turns out a lot of them you don't actually fight, and weird stuff happens, and you end up fighting a callback character from earlier in the series, or something weird happens.
Because instead of like an assassin like ranking, it's like a superhero ranking or something like this.
It's the galactic assassin ranking.
Oh,
so they're a
what
bunch of
it
weird
is?
alien
Okay.
assassins.
Gotcha.
And they tell you all of them from the start, like all their names and stuff. So it's not like who am I gonna fight next? Like you kind of know. But then they manage to still surprise you, so it works out.
Oh, awesome.
Speaking of weird aliens,
okay.
Nicole was flipping through Netflix, and I went to go get a drink, and I came back. She started Mars Attacks.
Nice.
A classic.
She has never seen it.
Nice.
And I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be a weird one for you. Like we're watching the movie, and she's like at one point, she just like looks at the TV, and she's like, "What is this movie?"
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember loving it as a kid.
Oh man, there's like so much just weird jokes in it, and I didn't realize that the one brother was Jack Black.
yes.
Oh.
I never picked up that he was Jack Black.
Yep. It was before Jack Black was the big get.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, he was on an episode of the X-Files too.
Oh yeah.
yeah, he's like I don't know, like 18 in this movie.
We'll talk more about Jack Black later, actually.
We will.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Keep dropping hints.
But yeah, like we're like watching the credits, and I was like talking about how much the movie is like a sort of like a spoof or an homage to like 50s sci-fi films and stuff like that. And I'm like,
Well, there were a bunch of trading cards before the movie.
Yeah.
oh, I
Like
didn't know
they
that.
were, they were like trading cards from like the 80s or something like that. They were almost like Garbage Pail Kid level trading cards with
Well,
like
that would
different.
make sense because they're the ugly aliens.
They are, yes, yeah, and yeah, I love that movie. I haven't
yeah.
watched it like often.
like,
but,
I forgot like how many like big names are in this movie. Well, big names at the time in this movie.
and future big names. Isn't Natalie Portman the daughter of the president?
I think so. That sounds right.
Yeah,
If I remember right, it bombed when it came out.
Oh, yeah.
too.
people didn't get it
Oh yeah,
at the time.
Which is a shame.
Probably
Yeah.
kind of like how some people don't quite get the actual message of Starship Troopers.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Or Fight Club.
or Fight Club. Yeah, President Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, but he also plays the sleazy Las Vegas.
He does. He plays a dual role in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People probably thought they were getting Independence Day, which I feel like came out around the same time.
Yes. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's what it kind of was.
Ish, yeah.
Yeah.
We're sitting watching. He's like, and he's doing that speech in front of like the Mars president or whatever, like in the war room or whatever. And he causes them to like shed a tear, and you're like he's sitting there smiling, and she goes, "He's got such just an odd smile, like his teeth." I don't know. I'm like, that's why I made a good Joker.
I thought you were talking about the alien, but no,
No.
it's Jack Nicholson.
I'm surprised no one has attempted an impression of the aliens yet.
I've been fighting it.
I figured.
I've been fighting it.
Let's not.
I
Let's
mean-
not do it.
Yeah, let's not do it.
I'm gonna Put my
Okay.
foot down. Nobody do it.
Okay.
I mean, I was doing it all through the house while we were watching the movie.
But
I can believe that.
but do add it to the soundboard.
For next week, sure thing. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, there's like one stupid part in the movie where like the big robot alien vehicle comes to the trailer park, and there's like a couple like doing couple things, and the aliens are like at the window and they steam up their stupid helmets.
Yeah.
God, that movie's got so many dumb jokes at like bowling the Easter Island heads and
Yeah.
My favorite is when they blow up Congress, and then the old lady goes, "They blew up Congress," and laughs.
yeah,
And just the fact that when they zap people, they turn into smoking skeletons. It's great.
either red or
super good.
green depending on the laser.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Well, yeah, those are our check 'em outs. You know what? We still have time in this first half. Let's talk about some non-Nintendo news. Let's get a couple of these out of the way before we take the break, because we actually have a lot of Nintendo Direct news stuff to talk about. So how about that? Oh, actually, I almost
you're gonna do? Okay.
I almost forgot.
I thought you had clipped Cowboy Bebop.
I did not.
3, 2,
No.
1, let's jam. Because they did release the opening sequence to Netflix's live-action Cowboy Bebop.
They did. Yes.
And you know what? It looks good.
Yeah, it looks like they at least get it enough to...
It's like enough of a, like I would say, a faithful comparison, I guess. I mean, it's almost identical, except for like a few of the added scenes that are going to be in the show and whatnot.
I don't know much about much. I have seen people complain a little bit that it doesn't seem as actiony. It's a lot of people just kind of standing around.
I mean, that happens a lot in the show.
That and like, you don't want to blow your good action scenes
In the opening.
That's true. What was
because they're not using a lot of new like footage created specifically for the opening. It's a lot of stuff they repurposed from the show itself.
Right.
So why would you blow your good stuff in the opening?
That's true. What was the other complaint I had heard?
I saw one where somebody was complaining about Faye using knives. She's never used knives in the show. She does. That's not the kind of character she is. Da, 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 da.
A lot of people seem to think they know what kind of character Faye is.
Yeah. The complaint that I had seen, who is the John Cho's like nemesis?
Vicious.
Vicious. I've seen multiple people say that, while all the other costumes look like really, really high end cosplay, Vicious in that opening trailer looks like store-bought
Sephiroth.
Well, it's hard because he just wears a black trench coat and carries a sword around.
That, and you don't even get to see him that much in the opening either.
You don't even see him that much in the show. Vincent is like in one episode in the middle of the series and doesn't really show up again until like the last 2 or 3. He's mentioned briefly in others, but that's about it.
Okay. I have no frame of reference for this. I think it looks kind of neat.
Oh, yeah.
It seems weird that it seems like they're missing a character, right? There's Ed,
but Ed's not in it at first.
Oh, okay.
And also not in the opening, I don't think.
All right.
Maybe no, because he's the same opening and from the beginning of the series to the end of the series.
They do have that corgi though.
Fine, yeah. I mean, in the show, Ed didn't show up until episode 10.
Oh, really? Okay. See, I didn't know.
A lot of people have really dumb opinions about it. That's what I've learned.
Well, I think people are also worried about, because it is a very popular series and a beloved series, of it getting the Death Note treatment.
I was going to say that the last time Netflix tried to do a live action adaptation of an anime, we got Death Note starring Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, they're doing another one, I guess.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? How?
I know.
Why?
Yeah, I know. That's basically all I had about it.
I saw some rando on Facebook claiming that it, quote, looks like a cash grab. And it's like, if Netflix was going to do a cash grab, they would pick a franchise that then 30-something nerds know about.
If they wanted to do a cash grab, they would have done live action Naruto.
Yeah.
Or live action My Hero Academia.
There is a live action here, My Hero.
I believe it.
I mean, it's Japan, but actually, I think they are supposed to do a movie. But yeah, I mean, even in Japan, there aren't a lot of good live action adaptations of anime.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
I think there's like 2 or 3 Death Note movies.
Yes, co-starring the original chairman from Iron Chef.
Yeah.
He was the police detective dad in both of those movies. I remember that.
I've heard the Takashi Miike Phoenix Wright movie is good.
Super good. I actually like that one a lot.
This Cowboy Bebop show has brought out a lot of the same neckbeards that were upset about He-Man.
Yeah, that's very true. Well, there's going to be a lot of people that's never going to be happy about anything. And speaking of never being happy about anything, our favorite video game developer, and by favorite I mean I hate them with almost every fiber of my being, Quantic Dream being led by Mr. David Cage, the Mr. Emotions,
who were recently in court for mistreating staff.
Staff and surprise.
Yeah.
Where David Cage cried on the stand.
Yes, I read this article. So there's a French newspaper. Quantic Dream is a French, it's like a French-Belgian kind of studio.
They speak French or form of French in Belgium.
Well, they do. And also a lot of the child actors in Quantic Dream games are French children that they feed the English lines phonetically to. Best example is Heavy Rain. Ethan Mars' children, they speak the English very much like
it's weird.
They don't know what they are saying. But apparently, there was a lot of accusations of workplace discrimination and that sort of thing, which I absolutely believe.
The other co-owner that's not David Cage also asked while on the stand if he was allowed to lie on the stand.
Yeah. I'm not under oath, so I can lie, right?
Yeah.
That was essentially what he said.
Yeah.
But they brought David Cage, the main guy behind Quantic Dream and my just favorite person on the planet, up to the stand and asked them, hey, there's some serious accusations here. What's going on? David Cage then stomped his little feet and said that you are disrespecting me. You're disrespecting my honor, and ran crying from the courtroom. It sounds to me like he missed a couple of prompts. Yeah. But anyway, Quantic Dream has been rumored to be behind a new Star Wars game, and by game I mean it's basically
A visual novel.
Yeah.
It's basically
Movie.
a choose your own adventure.
I read a report that says it's more action focused than what they had done previously.
Oh, that's
So who knows how that's gonna
well,
go?
that's not great because the last time they did an action oriented anything, it was Omicron: The Nomad Soul, where they ham-fistedly like forced shooting game and also fighting game mechanics
they threw
into
all
it.
the spaghetti at the wall.
They did.
And
Omicron.
scooped it all
Yeah.
back up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a point and click adventure survival horror fighting game first person shooter.
Yes.
And
that's-
David Bowie is there.
and David Bowie's there.
Soundtrack's banger though.
At least part of it.
Yeah.
At least part of it.
The David Bowie
The
part.
David Bowie part. Yeah. The other part was done by a guy from The Cure, but not like the main guy from The Cure. So, and
Not Robert
that part was
Smith.
not great. Yeah.
The placebo.
the placebo. I like it. The sugar pill. Yeah, I can't think of a developer that is least
Qualified.
qualified for a Star Wars game.
I think I could make a better Star Wars game.
Also, I doubt very seriously this is going to go through because, Star Wars is pretty well protected by Disney, and you know what Disney doesn't like? Teaming up with developers that have many, many accusations of workplace discrimination and a lot of baggage.
Save that for the people who make the Harry Potter games.
Right?
Wait, you mean
Yeah.
Warner Brothers?
Well, I guess specifically Portkey Games,
Portkey.
the Harry Potter. Let's just call it that from now on.
Yeah.
The Harry Potter Games Studio. I got a random TikTok the other day. It was like, you got to check out this game when it comes out. And it was like that Hogwarts Legacy or something.
Oh,
I was like,
jeez.
no,
No.
thanks.
Hard pass.
Oh, man, I still I tried that. I went back to the Niantic Harry Potter Wizarding World, whatever. And that game still stinks on ice.
Oh, it was so bad when it came out.
Yeah.
It doesn't make
I'm sure-
make sense.
I'm sure
Like,
they're not even.
doesn't.
I'm sure they're not even touching it.
Yeah, Niantic is the Pokemon Go folks.
And Ingress.
And Ingress. I can't wait for their Transformers game, which is
Oh, I know, right?
releasing imminently.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's already out in Denmark and New Zealand. They're soft launching it over there. The reasoning is too many people complained in the U.S., so now we get it last.
We get the finally polished turd.
Yes, and I can't wait to see how bad that game is, and
That makes
how
me sad because I love Transformers.
how micro transactiony. Like how much is an Energon cube going to cost you?
I mean, the Harry Potter game is literally is just like, well, you either give me some money or you're done.
Yeah.
Like, at least it was. I don't know if it is now.
No, it's worse.
It's worse.
Yeah, because people stopped playing it, so now they're bilking their remaining
we
fan
gotta break
base
even.
for-
We gotta break even on this.
yeah.
Anytime I've done an in-app purchase for Pokemon Go, like it's because I've wanted to.
I feel okay with, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like I'll put 99 cents down for the community day extra thing cuz you get, enough stuff out of it. But like
My bags are always full.
well,
Yeah, that too.
yeah. So let's go ahead and take a break here, and when we come back, we're going to talk about some of this Nintendo Direct stuff and kind of take it from there.
Nerd Overload is sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes. MB Subculture is the one-stop shop for all your geeky needs, from comics and collectibles to unique custom costumes, masks, makeup, and more. MB Subculture is located at 122 West Rensselaer Street in downtown Bucyrus, 567-806-5364, and online at subcultureoh.com.
This is Gail Martin.
Hi, this is Carol Kelly. We'd like to invite you to join us for our gardening and outdoors show here on WZMO. We talk about observations and insights about what's happening from week to week with plants and animals in the woods and fields around us, as well as what's going on in the garden.
In the Green Outdoors airs Saturdays and Mondays at about 9:30 a.m. right after the second cup. We hope you'll join us.
Hey everybody, we're back. That was the ads we put in the middle for other great shows on the WZMO
Network
radio station.
Yes. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into some more news, and by special request, here's that news jingle again.
I'm a Wario. I'm gonna win.
It just doesn't feel right not to come back to it.
You're right, it doesn't. Yeah, now we can get into the news proper.
It's our special report.
That's it. Yeah. So we're gonna talk about some Nintendo Direct news. They had it was like 40 minutes long.
It was basically E3 level.
Yeah, it really was. And it talks about a lot of games that are releasing here within the next, a lot of holiday, but also a lot of like just within the next 12 months. There's a bit that we're going to skip over, but we're going to go through as many. Oh, yes. Thank you for writing that on the board because I'd forgotten about that one. Yes, we're going to talk about some of the highlights. First one on the list is a new Kirby game, which looks amazing.
Yeah, I was really surprised by this because it's not a 2D platformer.
It's not. It's his first foray into full-blown 3D.
They're finally giving Kirby that Z-axis.
Yes, it looks a lot like Mario Odyssey, but Kirby.
That's what I immediately thought after I saw it, and I thought it makes sense for them to do this because why throw away the Mario Odyssey engine that basically stole Kirby's whole thing anyway?
That kind of, yeah. It's interesting because I think they were playing around with this a little bit as well because in Kirby Star Allies, the main map was a big 3D plane that you can move around, and the final boss in that game, Void Termina, is on a big 3D plane. So I think they were testing the waters a little bit with this. It does make me a little sad that they're moving away from the 2D platformer because that was always kind of Kirby's jam, but this game looks super good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good.
Yeah, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I think is what it's called. Yeah.
It's Kirby exploring what looks like post-human society.
Yes. Yeah, it looks very close to like a Seattle or something because there is a thinly veiled Space Needle kind of there.
Yeah, it's Kirby wakes up on a beach and he's in what looks like a post-apocalyptic Earth.
Yeah.
Except, a little brighter and a little cuter.
Because it's Kirby.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it'll be bright and cute right up until the secret final boss when it becomes some Cthulhian nightmare beast.
It's a very Kirby concept to put him on top of Apocalypse.
Yes. But not explain any of it unless you're constantly pausing the game to read the lore.
Yeah, unless you're really paying attention.
Because there was a lot of lore in Kirby Star Allies, but you wouldn't know it unless you paused it every time you had a new partner, every time you got to a new level, every time you interacted with a boss character, all of this stuff. But it goes super deep, like old gods from Beyond the Stars level deep. Seriously.
There's a lot of stuff, a lot of story in Planet Robobot too,
there is,
which was a fantastic game.
Yep.
I actually like that one better than I did Star Allies.
Let's see, Splatoon 3.
Oh man. I love Splatoon. I'm still excited for Splatoon.
Yeah.
The whole I'm still curious on what the whole purpose of the little bass, trout,
salmonid.
Oh, yeah, the little salmon guy following you around, and you're in the desert instead of being in the Japanese-esque techno city.
The city looked more like a Western style urban.
Yeah, it seems like this game is focusing a little more on their first player story mode, like one player story mode. They're introducing another race of player type into the game, the Mammalians.
Yeah, it's called Rise of the Mammalians is what the single player is, which is an interesting idea considering that Splatoon takes place in a world where all non-sea creatures have died except for two cats.
I mean, the Mammalians just looked like Octarians with fur.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just enemies you've seen, just hairy.
But it's different.
And I hated it. I hate the way they look.
Which Splatoon has always managed to kind of have an interesting plot going on behind the scenes, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I'm a little concerned that there is no Pearl and the other one, the hosts
Pearl
from
and
the sad
Marina.
one. Marina. Yes.
Yeah, they didn't show them. They did show the other ones.
Yeah, Callie and Mari.
Yeah, when they talked about the single player. So we don't know if there's going to be some sort of TV host segment.
I'm sure there is.
Or if they're going to have new characters for that.
Maybe.
I mean, that's what they did the other time. So I feel like chances are good they'll come up with 2 new ones.
Yeah.
More Japanese idol fish people.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Which seems like something people have hot opinions about.
Well, yeah.
I mean, not in a bad. They're just very opinionated about their fish people hosts.
Well, sure.
And it'll be interesting to see what designs they come up with for new ones, if they do new ones, and how people react to them.
I mean,
right.
Pearl's a little gremlin.
I love Pearl, and some people just hate Pearl. I like that she's a little gremlin, but...
All right. So they didn't really have any announcements for Smash Brothers or Animal Crossing, except that there's
the announcements are coming.
that there's going to be another direct for each of those games sometime in October.
Yes, they made announcements for announcements.
Yes. And
that's like when they have trailers for movie trailers.
Yeah,
right.
or those web pages that used to have countdowns on them that they would do all the time.
Yep.
Thankfully, they don't do that as much anymore, but that used to be a big thing.
That used to be a big thing, yeah. But no, I guess on the 5th, so that would be this coming Tuesday, is going to be the last Smash Brothers Direct with the final character of this version of Smash Brothers.
I don't see how they could do do more with Smash Brothers than what they've already done. There's 94 characters in the
Keep
game.
adding characters. Never stop adding characters.
There's really no big ones left to add. Except for
I
like
disagree.
Kingdom Heart or Halo
I disagree.
Man.
We have Halo Man, we have Sora, we have Bandicoot, we have
Gex the
Spyro.
Gecko.
We can get Gex. He can spin around and vomit on people.
Oh man, can we get Gex? And then we can get what's the comedian's name that plays Gex?
The rumor that I had heard is, and boy, I really hope this is not the case, but apparently Nintendo is working behind the scenes on another Fire Emblem.
If it's a Fire Emblem.
For a Fire Emblem that's not out yet.
The salt will rain from the skies.
By putting another Fire Emblem character into the game, Fire Emblem will have more characters than Mario characters. And they all play pretty much the same.
Yeah, because I have no skin in it at this point. Like, anybody I could really want in the game
is already there.
So if they put a Fire Emblem in, that's just funny to me at this point.
It's yeah.
I mean, I would really like Travis Touchdown to be in the game, but we know that's not
Travis
gonna happen.
Touchdown would be a good one. I actually think The Witcher would be a good one, but his rights are so tied up with the writer of the book
and Netflix
and all that
CD
stuff.
Projekt.
That's a whole web.
Also, Netflix announced a family-friendly Witcher spinoff, which
weird.
Why?
Why
Just
would you
make
do
another
that?
show.
Just do something original.
Yeah.
Do something Witcher-esque.
Dana Gold is the voice of
Yes.
of Gex,
Dana
by the way.
Gold.
Dana Gold. Gold or Gould?
Gould. Dana Gould.
Oh, Dana Gould, yes. He does a Talking with Dr. Z. It's a YouTube channel
That's
he
my
dresses
line
up like
picture.
Dr. Zaius from
Hanging with Dr. Z is a little trip.
Yeah.
It's like Space Ghost.
It's Space Ghost.
It's Space Ghost with Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
He did a little stand up at the Mystery Science Theater end of Kickstarter live stream. That was actually really funny and good.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. Also, the Animal Crossing thing, the big thing that they teased is the reintroduction of the coffee shop in the game, which a lot of people have been clamoring for and also knew it was coming because it's been in the code.
Yeah, data miners have been claiming it's coming since like the game came out.
Yeah, so it's finally being released. But you know what? They said that there's going to be a full direct about it, so I imagine there's going to be even more stuff coming beyond that. And I'm ready to jump back into Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I would pay for paid DLC for Animal Crossing
at this point. I probably would too.
It's been a little dry.
Yeah. Let's see. There was another trailer for Metroid Dread that's coming out here in about a week and a half. I don't know what else there is to say about Metroid Dread other than it looks good.
Yeah, I don't want to know anything else. I don't want to see anymore. I just want to play the game. I just want it in my hands.
Yep.
Which
We
got a week.
Isn't that the same day that the OLED drops too?
Yes.
It is.
And I want that so bad, but I don't need it at all.
It's like when a new phone comes out.
Yeah.
Mine still works just fine.
And they'll probably announce another Switch in 6 months.
Oh, probably. Probably.
The 4K one.
Yeah. The good one.
Oh wait, that's the Steam Deck. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there was a rumor floating around that some developers had a dev kit of a 4K Switch. Like Bloomberg reported on it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the developers mentioned in the article later came out and said, we don't have one of those. What are you talking about? And then Nintendo actually commented and said, no, that's not a thing. We haven't given anybody anything like that.
Oh, wow.
Nintendo Online is going to cost more.
Okay.
But
yes.
also you get Nintendo 64 and Genesis games.
Hey, all right.
And they showed like almost all the good ones for the Nintendo 64.
A lot of the really good ones, and also Project Winback.
Yeah, I don't know why Winback was on there. That was a weird poll.
Yeah.
I guess they needed a shoot game and they can't get GoldenEye.
They can't get GoldenEye.
And they never will.
And they can't get Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
So they had to get Project Winback.
But they did get Banjo.
They got...
Which is wild.
Yeah, well, Banjo's not going to be out at release, but it will be part of like a following wave.
Yeah, they showed it as a future title,
title.
and Rare even tweeted that, hey, this is happening.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's so funny because when you think of like the actual life of the Nintendo 64, you'd think whatever they launched would be the entire catalog anyway.
Yeah.
The 64 has such a small library.
Yeah, and there is a lot of garbo in there, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's just a couple more things that aren't there that they would add, and you would be all set. That's all you would ever want.
Yeah.
Unless you really want Glover, but you shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't want Glover. I'm surprised to see Pokemon Snap was included in some of the upcoming releases. I really didn't think they would ever put any kind of anything Pokemon as a free download for anything ever.
They never do that.
Yeah, which is my theory as to why we're not getting a Game Boy thing, because if they put a Game Boy online,
people are gonna want
they're gonna want Pokemon, but Game Freak is not going to want to release
but that's
free Pokemon.
It's not entirely up to Nintendo to put Pokemon on there.
Yeah.
And the minute they open the door to Game Boy Land, people are not going to shut up about it.
Never. Oh, no. No.
And it's like, no, play the hundreds of other Game Boy games that are good.
Right. But on the Genesis side of things, it looked like they had all the pretty... That's the same handful of games that they always do, probably because they don't have the... Genesis is weird. They like only have the masters for like a handful of their old Genesis games at this point, right?
I'm kind of miffed because I own the Sega Genesis collection.
Oh, yeah.
On the Switch, and it's like the same games.
Yeah,
it's less. You get more with the Genesis collection, but it's the same stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they have Rise Star. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think I'm the only person on this planet that enjoys Rise Star.
Rise Star's a good one.
Yeah. It was their attempt at making a Kirby, and they did it bad, but...
There's only one Sonic in there, which is weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
But they'll put more in there.
Oh, yeah, you'll eventually get them all.
Yeah.
Did it have...
Except maybe 3, because the music rights are weird on Sonic 3.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They already said they're doing controllers for the Genesis one anyway.
And the 64.
So there's a 64. They're both they're $50 a pop.
I don't know why you would ever want to go back to the Nintendo 64 controller.
Nostalgia.
It's not good.
It's not a good
The
controller,
Joy-Cons
but...
are going to be a marked improvement.
Well, yeah.
You should never have a controller that looks like it could also be used as a grappling hook.
No, now you see, that's where we differ, because... You know,
in a pinch,
listen, Nintendo makes quality product.
Yeah.
You know that if you were to throw a Nintendo 64 controller over a wall, it's going to stick to something, and you are going to climb up over it.
That plastic is not going to break.
No.
I mean, there's Rob the Robot that still work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So there were, after 1,836 days from their first announcement and only announcement of Bayonetta 3, they finally released a trailer for Bayonetta 3.
And I almost called it immediately when I saw it, because one of the things on the background said Platinum. And I'm like, is this Bayonetta 3? And then I second guessed myself. And then dog.
You saw
then the dog from Astral Chain showed up.
You saw that dog mascot from Astral Chain. And it literally got everyone. Because everyone saw that and it was like, Wow. Okay. Well, we'll take it. Astral Chain's great.
Yeah, honestly, if it was Astral Chain 2, fine. It was a good game.
Yeah. But no, it's Bayo 3, and it looks pretty good. She has a different costume, different haircut, which looks great.
Yeah.
A couple of pigtails instead of like...
It's the hair that the child version of her has in the original game.
Which leads to a theory that a lot of people have is that there is a splintering of timelines and that this is grown up version of secondary child Bayo.
And there is actually added weight behind that. The voice actor is different.
Voice actor is different. And the other theory is that Virgil looking person at the end with the sword is actually old Bayo, and that
would be cool.
And that is like post magic old Bayo with a sword, and that is the original voice actor voicing that one.
That would be rad.
Yeah,
if we had like a Dame Judi Dench style like Bayonetta,
right? Because people looked at that and they initially thought it was Jean, who is like the
Bayonetta's pal, Jean.
Yeah, I almost called her the Zero to.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
Bayonetta's Mega Man, but the sword has a little charm at the end that is like the little stuffed animal doll that the child version of Bayo carries around. So, time shenanigans.
And hey, that sounds cool.
That sounds great.
I mean, she's a hair witch with guns.
Yeah, I mean, the plots for Bayonetta have always been pretty out there, so...
Also, this Bayo's dancing is a lot different from the Bayo from the first two games. The whole thing is Bayo does a dance and then her hair turns into a monster because video games.
Yeah, because that's how it works.
That's how it goes. But this the dance in this is substantially different to the point where it does not look like the same character, I guess.
That could also be because it's been 10 years or something since the other game.
But there is the original director of Bayo,
the guy that bans everybody on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, Swery.
No,
not Swery. Swery's the one that friends everybody on Twitter.
Yeah, Swery is the Deadly Premonition guy.
Yes. Yeah, the other guy. He did an interview. I guess they handed off production to another director for Bayonetta 3, and apparently he has stated that this guy brought a giant binder full of everything and was very adamant about making sure certain sections of the game are included, and he said it was at this moment that I knew that he knew Bayonetta better than I did. In my soul. So
good.
Yeah, so I have high hopes for this.
Yeah, I'm always down for Bayonetta. It's a good franchise.
Yeah. All right, so we just have a couple minutes left, so we're going to do Mario movie. They announced.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, during the direct, Miyamoto came out, and I initially got very excited, like he was going to announce a new game or something. No, he announced the cast of the Mario movie, and it's so off the wall ridiculous that it just blew my brains out, and it ruined the whole direct. Couldn't think of anything else for days.
Oh yeah, no, I can't tell you what was announced directly after that. It might have been ActRaiser, but
I think it was Splatoon.
It might have been Splatoon. Yeah, you're right. But okay, so rolling it back, Nintendo has been working with Illumination, the folks who have done Despicable Me and the Minions movies, to do an animated film. And the first thing he said was, we have a release date, December 22nd, 2022.
No, 23.
Or
was it 22?
It was 22.
It was 22.
Yeah. Okay, it's being released in North America first, with European and Japanese releases afterwards.
They get a stuff for later.
They do. And they said that they don't have anything to show yet, so they're still working on the animation process. There's no trailer. But yes, they went through and announced the voice actors, and now we're going to announce the voice actors. First off,
Chris Pratt is the voice of Mario for some reason.
Mamma mia.
It's me, Chris Pratt.
Yeah, I can't think of a more nondescript, just dude voice than Chris Pratt. There is nothing to it.
Yeah.
I like him as Star-Lord. I like him in stuff that he's in, but
he's okay as Emmett.
The point of Emmett is that he is bland nothing.
Yeah.
Why can't you find him? Well, he looks just like us.
He's an everyman.
Yeah. I don't understand, like, of all of the casting, I don't understand this one the most. The other ones I can see. Some of them are a stretch. Chris Pratt, I don't get it.
I think it's just people want big name, and Chris Pratt is big name.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who gets excited about Chris Pratt anymore.
Well, Star-Lord's pretty fun. He's a fun character.
But
we're not going to be able to get that as Mario.
He's so, like, oversaturated in the market at this point.
Kinda, yeah. Up next is Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, which, again...
Fine.
I don't even know who she is.
Queen's Gambit.
I haven't watched that.
She was Magic. She was Ilyana Rasputin in The New Mutants.
In every red carpet picture of her, she looks like some sort of sexy alien.
Her eyes look like they're trying to escape her face. It's like if you made a me and you stretch the eyes out just a little bit too far.
She looks like Uncanny Valley, but I'm into it.
Yeah, like I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that is the best way to describe it. Is that
It's just like there's just something a little weird about you, but I like it.
But it's fine. Having said that, I can't pick her voice out of a crowd.
Oh no, but it's Princess Peach, which who cares? She just has her whole purpose in the Mario franchise is that she is a woman. So as long as you cast someone who sounds like a woman, you're good.
Yeah. Although, do you think that they're going to give Princess Peach a Fiona from Shrek-esque kung fu scene?
Oh, probably. Yeah.
I hope she floats.
Oh, that would be great. Next
I
up,
also hope she bakes Chris Pratt a cake.
that would be also good. Next up, Charlie Day as Luigi.
Which is good.
This is good casting.
I like that. Like picture a Luigi's Mansion movie with Charlie Day as
Just
Luigi.
screaming.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good casting.
It's all Charlie work.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Keegan-Michael Key as Toad.
Which that's fine, I guess. I mean, he's funny.
Hey, Ron!
Yeah, that video I put in the chat.
I like Keegan-Michael Key.
I think he's great. Yeah.
Toad is, he's there, so sure.
Yeah.
I'm just glad this means he won't be a minion. They won't turn him into the
I
minions.
was concerned that he was going to be a weird minion. Instead, he's going to be... Yeah, he's going to be cool. He's going to be all right.
No, the Goombas will be the minions.
Yeah. Jack Black is Bowser, King Bowser.
And that's good, too. I can't think of anybody better, to be honest.
Jack Black has done a lot of voice work, which I can't say the other actors so far have done a ton of animated voice work, which it takes a certain skill that you can't just plop an actor into a booth and do voice acting. It doesn't work all the time, but Jack Black has done quite a bit of that. I think his
whole Instagram is just him dancing around being an idiot.
Yeah.
I think he'll give Bowser the heart that he needs because if you remember, he is a single father.
Yes. Let's see. There was Seth Rogen
as Donkey
Kong, which I think may be the best casting.
I just waited for him to just to knock somebody off the screen or whatever and just do that stupid Seth Rogen laugh.
It sounds like it's the one that the most sounds like a joke.
Yeah.
But also I'm not mad.
Well, no, Chris Pratt sounds like the most like a joke, but this one actually fits.
A sad joke.
Yeah.
Will they Chris Pratt sounds like a sad joke, like a cynical joke.
A cynical,
Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong sounds like a wacky joke.
Yeah. Okay, do you think that they will make some sort of marijuana joke, but it's a banana?
But it's a banana?
Do you get it? Seth Rogen?
I hope not, because talk about easy joke.
I mean, it is a low-hanging
This
fruit.
is Illumination. Very good. I was going to say, this is Illumination we're talking about. Low-hanging jokes are kind of the name of the game.
And they had a couple more side characters. They had, was it Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek?
As Kamek, yeah. And Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. This movie's going to have Cranky Kong in it, guys.
That means they're probably going to travel to Donkey Kong Island.
Yeah, and I actually have a theory about this because they also announced that Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario and Luigi and everybody in the games, Wario and all, just about everybody, he is going to be in the movie in a few undisclosed roles. And I have a theory about this, specifically because they entered their also announced Cranky Kong. I ascribe to the unpopular opinion that the Mario that is in the original Donkey Kong game is not the same Mario that is in the Mario Brothers games.
It's Mario's father.
It's Mario's father. And I have a theory that Charles Martinet is going to be playing first generation Italian father of Mario and Luigi. And that's how they're going to get around not having stereotypical Italian voices throughout the majority of the movie. They'll still get it's me, a jump man.
I think that there'll be like a Mario doll someone has made, and it'll sound like the real Charles Martinet Mario, and then Chris Pratt Mario will be like, I don't sound like that. That's dumb.
Yeah, that's
like the whole blah blah blah
Yeah.
joke in Hotel Transylvania.
I can kind of see that as well.
Which is also kind of like a spit in the face of the real voice.
A little bit, but I'm hoping they go the father of Mario and Luigi route, because in Donkey Kong Country, Cranky Kong is the original. He's elderly now, but he is the original Donkey Kong. He's the grandfather of the current Donkey Kong.
I would like to see Mario's parents.
Yeah,
I'd be down for that.
I've always in my brain, my headcanon is their last name is Jumpman or Jumpman.
Mario Jumpman.
And Mario and Luigi's parents are Mario Sr. and Pauline. That way you explain why he's saving Pauline and Donkey Kong and not Princess Peach.
It doesn't line up with Mario Odyssey, but
it doesn't, but whatever. But that has always been kind of my headcanon. Also, are we going to see Wario and Waluigi in a post-credit sequence?
No, we need to talk about how weird it is that Foreman Spike is in this movie.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
That is the weirdest, most obscure pole Mario character you could put in this major motion picture.
But you know what it's going to be? It'll be like they'll start the movie and Mario and Luigi are working for Foreman Spike, and then they go down into the sewers and save a princess. So it's going to be like Foreman Spike is his crummy boss, and he's going to be in 3 scenes.
Which, I mean, that's kind of what his character was in Wrecking Crew.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably what it's going to be.
Foreman Spike was like pre-Wario.
Yeah. Well, he looks like Waluigi.
Yeah.
Like, straight up. Yeah.
I hope Wario and Waluigi are just in the movie.
That would be cool. I still think they're going to be post-credit, like, teaser. Like, Bowser's going to be like, oh, if you got to beat a Mario, you got to be a Mario. And then
he makes Wario in a lab.
He makes Wario and Waluigi these weird homunculi in a lab, and it's voiced by, like, I don't know, who would be, like, analogous to Charlie Day and Chris Pratt, but evil.
Put Glenn Howerton.
Okay.
And who? Because I'm switching. You would expect it to be, be Waluigi. Put Glenn Howerton as Wario, and who is reverse Chris Pratt?
Jim Halpert. Or, John Krasinski.
Yeah.
See, I think you go a step further, you do the deep cut, you get Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, get the Wet Bandits in here as Wario and Waluigi. That way, it works.
It would be good. It would work.
Yeah. Think of it in your brain. It would actually work.
It's a good pick.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, listen, we have actually gone way over time, so we need to wrap things up.
What we'll actually get is Pitbull and
also Pitbull.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes. Anyway, you've been listening to Nerd Overload. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. You can find us each and every day over at nerdoverload.com.
You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and Patreon at Nerd Overload Now.
You can send us an email at staff@nerdoverload.com. Send us your casting recommendations for Wario and Waluigi. And you can give us a call on the Nerd Overload hotline, 586-372-8020. Leave a message on our voicemail, and we might play it on the show!
Oh, I've missed it. I've missed the yell. You can find all of our back episodes on various podcast apps such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, and more. And finally, I'd like to thank David Pencil for the use of our intro and outro. You can find more of his stuff over at davidpencil.com. So again, thank you all for tuning in, and we will be back next week.
Here's where I would do a Seth Rogen laugh if I could do one.
This show was sponsored in part by MB Subculture Comics and Costumes.